Hey guys, this is Hetu and welcome back to etlqalabs. So in this session, we will look at some of the Informatica testing related questions, right? So these are the questions which have been asked in interview, and I have received on my YouTube channel, right? And I thought that I will create this video so that it can benefit every one of you. Okay. So guys, these are little tricky questions, so that's the reason I chosen all of them basically which are here. Okay. So let's try to cover each one of them, okay? And then we will see that, how these questions can be answered when you encounter these questions in an interview, right? So let's start then. So first question is, how do you validate tables if source is having 10 row records and target is having 5 records? Okay. So guys, this seems to be a very valid scenario, okay? Because source might be having the 10 record and target might be having 5 record. That is completely valid, right? It is not other way around, like source is having 5 and target is having 10, right? That is not the case. So here it is very valid scenario, and there could be multiple reason why this kind of scenario or this kind of data loading happened, right? So let's try to cover. I have noted down few things, then I will take that example and then we'll cover it, okay? So here is that, guys, right? So first thing that can be that the first thing is that there might be the filter applied in the workflow or in the mapping, right? So for example, I have employee number. For example, I will take one example, maybe that will be good to understand. All right, guys. So let's say I have employee number and employee name. All right. All right, guys. So let's say one name is A, two B, 3C, okay, 4D, 5E, something like that, guys, okay. Now what I will do is, let's say I'll just copy paste it here, okay. Now we got the 10 record, right? This is, let's say, source, all right. And what will happen is when I am actually what I have done is I have used the filter transformation, okay. In that filter transformation, what I'm going to do is either I'm going to one second, guys. In this case, it is different. So let's say I'm just going to put 6, 7, okay, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Name, let it be same, doesn't matter. Okay. So let's say my filter condition says that what I say is that the employee number, okay, should be less than 5, right? Let's say something like that. Employee number should be less than or equal to 5. What will happen in that case? All these uh, records will get rejected, guys. Only these records will be traversing less than 5. So all these 5 records will be traversing, and then 5 records will be loaded into target, right? So this is what I mean to say here, okay? Second scenario can be, I'm just taking the example, guys, okay? I will repeat the same thing here. Here also we have 10 records, but here we can find the duplicate, right? So what can happen is, let's say I have used the distinct condition, okay, in shorter or somewhere, wherein basically I am deduping it, right? So I am actually I'm not allowing the duplicates, basically having duplicates, but dedupe is applied in the mapping, right? In that case, what will happen is only one copy of each of the records are getting loaded. So here only it will be loaded, and then again it find one, then it will not load because this is duplicate, right? So this is the second case. Third case can be the data rejection, guys. Why data rejection? Because the incompatibility of data type and data size, for example. Okay. So what might happen is, let's say I have got this employee number in my target, So this is number field, guys. Okay. Numeric field. Okay. Number. Okay. And this is, let's say, varchar. Okay. Now what I will do is, let's say this is what defined, everything is fine now. What happened is, actually when uh, we have received the file, the records came something like this: emp to emp, something like that. Let's say emp has been added in front of each of this record. Okay, maybe I'll put in front of 4 5 maybe. So what will happen, guys? So this is the numeric type. This is supposed to be numeric type when actually when we receive the file, that file is having this kind of data. Okay, when we ran it, all these 4 5 records will get rejected because this particular value is not numeric. This is this is a can be considered as varchar, right? But our definition of our target, or even we can say in the within the mapping itself, right? uh, when I say mapping, right? So here let's say I have considered this. Okay, so imply here is a number, right? But let's say if I am just not here, maybe here, if I say uh, all right, guys, here only it will get rejected, okay, because it is number, right? But so it will be rejected here only, it will not traverse further also, right? And in the pipeline also, if somewhere we have used, let's say, here it is number, here maybe it is varchar, but here is number, then also will get rejected. Okay, incompatibility of data size, right? So in this case, this will be rejected. So this is the third scenario. Okay, now um, this we have covered three things. Now the fourth case can be the target table is not allowing duplicate, means the data is correct, okay, everything is fine basically 1 to this 10, but as I said that dedupe is not applied, okay, in my mapping, but in my target table, when I define the target table, I have defined as a primary key, which means it will only load 1A, then when again 1A is appearing, let's say later, then it will just throw an error saying that primary key constraint violation, right? So this is also one of the case can be, all right, and this will be rejected. Obviously the job will not fail, basically only the data will get rejected. Okay, now the fourth thing that what we can do is when we perform the minus operation, okay, from target minus source, because target is having 5, everything is loaded into target. When I say target minus 5, it should return no records. Okay, so this is what all the validation that you have to put, guys. Okay, and to check all these things, you can check all these things, and you can also check the mapping. I mean, basically, when you check the mapping document or data lineage, right, then you will be able to know what kind of transformation are applied, basically, right? But these are some of the possible cases that might happen. In that case, you will validate all these things, then you will definitely come to know what is the problem there, right? And then you can raise the bug accordingly. All right. Let's go back to the second questions, guys. Okay. So second question is a workflow contains two session and second session is dependent on first session. Okay. First session does not have the source file available in the path. The second session should start irrespective of first session. So what are the possible test cases that you would perform? So guys, it is something like that. I have designed it here. I'll show you. So it is something like this. Okay, I have two sessions, guys. Okay, and uh, it's not like so what will happen is basically what they want is they don't want to fail the second session even if the first session is failed. Okay, so this workflow is having two session and those two are in sequential in nature, right? So they are in sequence, they are not in parallel. Okay, so you see once this is completed, then only uh, this will be kicked off, right, this particular session. Okay, so what will happen is what the question is basically, let me do one thing. Let me try to give okay, let me try to run it and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so I have kicked it off. Now let's see, it is okay, guys, so let's see, it has started. Okay, so first session, which is FFS, for session 1 FF, this one first session has already started now, guys. Okay, this one. Now once it is completed, then only this will be starting. Okay, so let's monitor it, what happens, because these are the sequential, but I have not put any condition as such. Okay, this is by default condition. Okay, I have simply just linked the first session. So now the first session is completed, then only second session is kicked off now, right? Okay, which means there is no dependency, but then we will see that how it works. Okay, guys, so the idea is basically what kind of test cases that you are going to write. Okay, so the first test case that I would like to say that in this case I in this case, what is supposed to happen is basically even if the first session is failed, I want to still run the second session. Okay. In this case, both are passed. Okay. Now what I will do, I will try to fail the first session. Okay. And then I want to see that whether the second is passing or not. So this is the test case that you have to put. So what I have to do is I have to basically go and I have to supply the wrong file name here. So the file name that I have emp, right? I am going to say emp1, and this particular file does not exist, guys. Okay. So this is the folder that I have kept it here. So this particular file does not exist. See, emp is there only file, right? emp1 is not there. Okay. Now what I will do is let me try to run it. Then what will happen is the first will fail, and then but second will still continue. Okay. So this is what the scenario it is. All right. Started first one. I'll show you the data load as well after that. Okay. So let me see that. Okay. Yeah, so this is the test that we are going to perform, right? So first session we are intentionally failing it. So once you fail it, you have to check whether the second is passing or not, right? So this is the test case that you have to do, guys. Okay. Now let's see that how it goes. Now this is still running, and definitely it will fail, guys. Okay. So it failed. See now, but the second session is kicked off. See, irrespective whether it is failed or not, right? Now I would like to do one thing. I'd like to check the get the session log, right? So this is the session log, and then I checked it here. What is the problem? So error opening file emp.csv. So this path it went, it could not find this emp1 because there is file called emp.csv, right? So that's the reason it is saying that error opening this file cannot file. The system cannot find the specific file specified, right? But then in second case, I mean this particular second session is succeeded, guys, right? But then overall, the workflow got failed because the workflow will only pass if all the sessions in that particular workflow will pass, right? That's the reason it is failed. But for the second session, this is succeeded, which means the data for this particular session has been already loaded, etc. Right? So this is how it is, guys. Okay. So let me show you. Okay, if you want to see that. So we'll see that if it is loaded. Target one, guys. Target one should be loaded with. Sorry, what is that? We don't have data, looks like, guys, in the source as well. Okay, let me see. Okay, one second. So what is the problem now? One sec. Let me go there and see what is the target that we have defined here. So target is emp underscore target. Okay. All right. So let me one second. Let me see the source as well. So source is okay. So what has happened is little problem. Okay, we got that file in the source, but why it has not written here? That's little surprising to me. Let me try to. Okay, let me see that. Okay, this is having file data. One second, guys, just hold on. Alright, guys, I got it what the problem. Okay, so I just what I did is basically I was actually trying to load the wrong data, so that was getting rejected. Okay, so if you see here, this was the record that I was trying to insert, but as I said that imply number is supposed to be numeric, but it is alphanumeric or varchar, right? That's why it was getting rejected. So I inserted this record, and when I loaded it, it got successfully loaded into this particular table. So this is the target for the second session. Let me show you. Yeah, so this is how it is loaded, right? All right, so I hope you understood it. Now, what are the negative test case testing that you would do to check data loading from flat file to database, right? So this is the scenario, guys. Okay, so what are the negative testing that we have to do? So I have noted down few things that you can note it. So guys, see, the first thing that we will do is we will point wrong file in the session. We just have seen, right? So we have pointing the wrong file. It should give you the error and job should fail, right? Because the file, it should say that the specified file, error opening file, the file specified is not found, something like that, okay? The first test that I should do it, okay? This is the negative testing. If it is not giving this error, then your job is not correct, okay? So you have to ensure that this you are getting this failure, job failure, when you are specifying the wrong file name, okay? Second case is the empty file. We should actually try to insert the we should provide the empty file, and what should happen is ideally the job should fail, okay, as per business requirement, because business do not want to load the empty data. There is no data, then it should obviously the job should fail, and then that so that the job can be taken care and reloaded with the correct data, right? If file is empty, you loaded and the job did not fail, it will not trigger any alert to the production support engineers, right? And they will not come to know what is the problem there, right? That is the reason, as per business, it should be failing. So this is the negative scenario that I should be testing, okay? It should fail. Third thing that I can do, as I said previously, that I will try to add the one of the numeric field with the varchar data and try to load it. The data which is having the varchar, all those rows should get rejected. Okay, the only valid data, the rows having the valid data should get inserted. Okay, so this is also one negative test that you have to do. Now you have to repeat the same test for each of the fields. So for example, there is a varchar, there is a number, then you should try to use the varchar. If there is a date field, you should try to insert some number and then see if it is loaded. It should not load, it should get rejected, right? So all those kind of checks that we should be performing, guys, okay? And also some checks like duplicate checks, okay? You try to insert some duplicate in your source. Let's say it is flat file, then you have to simply insert some of the duplicate and then see if the target is not, target should obviously not get the duplicate updated, right? So it should get filtered somewhere, right? So that kind of negative testing that we should be doing, okay? I would say here one more, the duplicate, insert duplicate data in file and run the workflow, right? What should happen is it should not basically it should not load it, okay? It should get rejected. All right. All those duplicates should get rejected and only single copy data should be inserted, okay? All right, guys. So we are covered up to here, okay? Three questions so far. Now the fourth question is basically difference between abort and stop, in which scenario you use these two, okay? So abort, and I will show you what is abort and what is stop, guys, okay? So when I say okay, let me do one thing, guys. Let me run it, and then I'll show you how to abort it. So I started workflow. Now if I go there, all right. So when I go here on this workflow, if I say right click, I have option to either stop or abort. Okay. So when I say stop, what will happen? Let's see. It is stopping, guys. Okay. So this is only first session that is running now. It is stopped. See, it has stopped, which means if it has gracefully stopped it. Okay. Which means if and the abort and stop both are similar. Only thing is what stop will do is the integration service will stop reading any further data basically, okay? And whatever is read from the source, that will be processed up to target, okay? So which means it will be loaded, the data will be loaded into target basically if it has already when you say stop, right? Before stopping, if the integration service has already read the source data, it will be you know loaded into target, then only the job will stop, okay? But in case of abort, let's say if I restart again and I say okay, let's say it will open up another one, okay, here. So if I say here, let's say abort will basically kill the job basically, okay? It will not do any graceful stopping. So it will kill, and there will not be any further movement of the data. So Informatica, what it does is basically extract the data, transform the data, and load the data, right? In abort, everything will be killed. It will be immediately shut down every process, right? So that is the reason we should try to avoid the abort, okay? Because sometime what happens is like if you are aborting the job, it might create a problem with regards to your memory also, because your memory will not be able to properly clean up, right? In some of the systems, right? So that's the reason we should, because that is not the graceful way of stopping the job, right? So that's the reason we should always try to stop the job. If you are not able to stop the job, then only you should try to go and abort it, okay? But first we should try to stop the job, okay? So that it cannot hamper any other resources of the systems, right? All right, guys. So hope you are able to understand it. Now, what error will you get when the file is not present in the source? Guys, I have already shown you, right? So if you are not getting the file, then it will give you, if there is no file, then it will give you, file error opening, right? So I have shown you already. Let me show you once again. Okay, so let me go here and this session, if I open the session log, I'll show you here. You see, guys, error opening file, and then file path is given this complete path of the file where it is trying to look here, okay? And it says that operating system error message, system cannot find the file specified, which means this emp.csv file in this particular folder is not there. Yeah, this is as simple as that, okay? So this is the error that you will be getting. Now, sorry guys. Okay, now this is the question, okay? So there are 100 keys in one table and some transformation is applied and only 50 keys are loaded, okay? I want to check which records are missed. All right. So guys, this is very simple, right? So in this case, if you have only 50, you can simply do one thing. You can simply say source minus target, right? And then you will come to know that, which are those records which are not loaded in target. So you have to say here, you have to perform the source minus target, right? This query basically, okay? You see that how you write it, but yeah, this is how you have to write. You have to perform this source minus target, then you will come to know this 50 records which are not loaded, okay? Now guys, these two questions are related to, also important one. But yeah, they are from Oracle, not from Informatica. Okay, so NVL and NVL2, these are the two functions which are provided in Oracle. Okay, and what is the usage of these two functions? We will see. Let's go to Oracle and we'll try to see it. Okay, I have one table called EMP. All right, guys. So I have this table EMP, and I have three columns: employee number, salary, and commission. Okay. Now what will happen is here, this for employee number 7, there is salary 10,400, but there is no, the commission is blank basically, which means this is null. Here also it is null, here also null, right? So in this case, if I would like to replace the commission with 0, right? If I don't want to, I want to say it as a 0, because no commission, no value means I would assume that it is 0, right? In that case, I can just replace with 0. Let's say I will write it NVL here. So NVL, I am talking about NVL first, okay? It will convert the null values to some other value. This is what the usage of it. If it is not null, then it will give you the same value, okay? Whatever is there. So in this case, let's say here it will come like this, and here it will convert. Let's say I'm converting at a 0, right? Okay. So if you see here, guys, see commission, I have taken this column as well, right? So that you can see clear difference here, right? So here it is null, so it is 0, and wherever we have value, it will be displaying the value only, okay? It's not like that I have to say 0. I can say anything, right? Oh, sorry guys, I think this is not number field, right? That's the reason. But okay, what I will do is I will try to, let's say I will put really big number so that you can see it. You see that? This particular number. it is displayed. Okay, if that particular column is name or something, that is varchar, then you can use that na or something. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind. Okay, so this basically NVL basically replaces the null values to some values whatever you defined here in the second parameter right here. Okay, hope you are able to understand it. Okay, there is another function called NVL2. Okay, so what NVL2 does is here, right? NVL2. So NVL2, I'll show you here maybe. NVL2. Okay, the syntax is something like this. Okay, one, and I have to give. So it will basically replace the existing value, whatever is value is there, that value with something, and null value will also be replaced with something. So let's say whatever value I have, I want to, let's say, replace with 50,000, and whatever columns, the values which are missing will be, let's say, replaced by 10,000, something like this value. Okay, in that case what will happen is it will okay, let's try to see it, guys. I think it will be better to see the example, right? Okay, I just did it here, so if you'll be able to understand here. Okay, no, I will take commission also so that you can see clear difference. All right, guys, so what is happening, you see that wherever we are finding null, that is replaced with this value 1 lakh, I think 100,000. Okay, and this is 50,000. So wherever we have the value, for example, commission is having 100, so here it is replaced with this particular value, correct? 50,000. So in NVL, we basically given only two parameters. One is the column name, and the second one replacement for null values basically, right? So here whatever we have given, that we have got, right? But here we are giving three parameters. So first one is basically this particular second parameter is basically replacing the non-null values with some values, and then third one is basically wherever it is finding the null, that value will be replaced here. So for example here, right? So NVL2, you can, there is a trick, how do you remember it, guys? So NVL2, 2 means basically the null value at the two positions. So here this is second position, right? First, second. Okay, so wherever 2 is there, which means the null value, this is for null value basically. Okay, so all the null value will be replaced with this, and all the not null value will be replaced with this. Okay, so hope you are able to understand, guys. Okay, now let's take one more question. I think we have last question. Okay, okay, so I have employee, the same table, guys. Okay, employee number, salary, and commission. What I need is I need to get the total salary, and total salary should be employee number, and the salary should be salary plus commission, right? So that is what I want to get. So that is the total salary. So how do we write this query? Okay, so let's see, right? So let's say employee number, salary, commission. I want salary plus commission. Okay, and let's see if it is giving you the correct. One second, guys. I think EMP number. Yes, correct. Okay. Now see, supply number 7. So these are the three columns that I am directly taking from the table. Okay, and this is the one that I am saying that I need to. Okay, let me put it as alias as total salary. Okay, all right. So this is the total salary column. Now what is happening is basically I want salary and commission to be added. When I am adding this salary and commission here, so commission is null, right? So when we are actually adding something with null, it is actually coming as a null, which is completely wrong, right? Because this guy is having salary. Only thing is this guy doesn't have any commission, right? In that case, it should at least come as a salary, right? 10,400, right? But it is not coming. Okay. Now here it is coming correctly. Okay, because it is adding up and it is coming correctly here. Here also it is coming as null. Okay, which is again wrong. Okay. So what I need is, I basically want to say that if there is no commission, then I would like to replace it with 0, so that it can at least add a salary with 0 and the salary will come here, right? And that will be the correct figure, right? So what I want to do is, as I said you, we can use the NVL command here, guys, okay? So this is very popular interview question, okay? So you should remember that, you should take care of this null value addition. Adding the null value with any other value will always be resulting to null, right? So that is the reason you should remember this, okay? Now to particular this column, so salary plus commission. So for commission, what I want to see, if commission is there, then let it be the same commission. If not there, then I want to replace it with NVL. So I have null. So I have to use NVL command here, and then I have to give this value. Let's say I want to give it 0. Okay. Hope this is the same thing you understood. I explained you before, right? Just now, let's try it. Now see guys, this is coming correctly, okay? No null means there is no commission, which means this same value is coming. Here also, see, same value is coming. There is, means null is, we are able to eliminate this problem with the null, right? So this is how you have to solve. So this is the last question, guys, from the SQL, and I think this is also important. So please keep it in mind. And yeah, I think that's all for this video. And I think I thought that this video will be really helpful for you. So that's the reason I did this video. And please feel free to comment or ask any other questions. Send me the set of questions that you are actually you want me to answer, right? I will be happy to answer them. And that's all for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. And see you soon with the next video. Until then, happy learning and God bless you. Bye.